So hello everybody, it's Richard Brett here. Welcome to our June speaker meeting. Great to see you all again. Hope everybody has been keeping safe and well since our last meeting a month ago. This is the second of these meetings that we've held on Zoom. Last month's meeting worked well, so we're trying out the technology again this afternoon, and we hope everything works okay. What I'm going to do is actually to switch off everybody's audio, mute everybody. I know some of you are muted anyway, but I'm just going to mute everybody, and I will unmute Fool's Gold in a moment. But it's just going to be a little bit easier. I think we should be able to hear Fool's Gold a little bit more easily if there is no risk of phones ringing or dogs barking or whatever else might be going on in the background. At the end, if anybody wants to ask a question, then we'll unmute you so you can ask the question. Before we get down to the main business of the afternoon, there is something I'd quite like your advice on. For this meeting, and also for last month's meeting, we delayed sending you the Zoom invitation until within about 24 hours of the meeting. Last time I think we did it the day before. We were intending to do it the day before this week as well, but there was a little bit of a technical hitch, so the email only went out early this morning. But the reason for leaving it till the day before is really so that the email is still fairly near the top of your inbox and doesn't get lost below lots of other emails. But I do suspect that some of you would prefer to get the email a few days earlier. There are obviously arguments both ways. So what I thought would be a good idea is just to do a little survey amongst everybody who's here to see which of those options you prefer. So if you would prefer to get the email the day before, within 24 hours or so of the meeting itself, so you could just raise your hand like that. We'll have just a quick count. Make that about 26 actually, which is quite a lot, I think. So if on the other hand you would prefer to get the email a few days before, could you raise your hand now, please?
You can also send the email out as a diary thing, can't you? So that it goes into people's diaries.
Right, yes.
Which would be useful.
Yes. I don't know. Thanks, everybody put your hand down now. That's fine, thank you.
Why don't you just do both?
Yeah, okay. I mean, the emails go out via MailChimp. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what you can do with MailChimp and what you can't, but we can certainly look into that and see if that's an option. But certainly amongst everybody here, I think the preference was to send the email out within a day or so of the meeting taking place. But thank you anyway for taking part in that. Anyway, I'm just going to admit 3 more people. That's good. Let's get down now to the main business of the afternoon. So I'm going to hand over now to our speaker secretary, Janice, who is going to introduce. Oh, over to you, Janice.
Right, hello everybody. So lovely to see so many people, and it was nice going in the breakout room. Never done that before, so that's a new one. Well, today we've got Fool's Gold. We couldn't manage to have them last year because the government usurped the hall from under us, and so that was the date that they were due to come last year. So I instantly booked them for this year, and now we've got coronavirus. So I think, there's something going on here, a hidden agenda. But Fool's Gold have come zooming to the rescue by putting together this presentation of some of their favourite songs and some stories behind them. So I hope you all put your hands together, even though they might not be able to hear us, and welcome Fool's Gold.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I'll just check with Richard. Can I share my screen if I need to? No, you're muted, Richard, so I can't hear whatever words of wisdom you said there, but no, I can't share my screen just yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to share your screen, but if you can't, let me know.
No, I can't. It's
Okay.
a host disabled attendee screen sharing. It may come up in a minute or two. I'll say hello and we'll carry on. Good afternoon, all. It's lovely to be with you. Well, after a manner of speaking, anyway. Here we are in the northeast. We're just outside Durham, and there's something very strange happening in the northeast because there's this big yellow thing in the sky, and everybody's outside pointing at it and wondering what it is, because we don't often see it in the northeast, but it's lovely. It's very warm. Anyway, you might be wondering what on earth this is all about, so I'll very quickly explain, and then we'll get on with the first offering. We are musicians. We come from the folk clubs, really, and a lot of the songs we do, whether they're original or songs you certainly know, well, they've all got stories. They've all got histories, mysteries, tragedies, romances even, that lie behind them. And some of the very well-known songs that we've got for this afternoon, we've got about 4 or 5 songs for this afternoon, they've got a most surprising story that lurks behind them. So what we like to do is we like to tell you the story, show you a few pictures, and then we like to perform the song live. Now, the interesting thing here is, of course, I can't hear you. Nobody can hear you. That means that you can sit in the comfort and anonymity of your own home and warble away to your heart's content. So that would be nice to see all your little mouths opening and closing in these little thumbnails. Now then. Here we go. So I'm going to take you off to introduce our first song. Now, the first song, I'll just share my screen and go to it. So you should now be able to see what I can see. This song, well, I'm taking you off to Paris. Paris in the 1730s. It was growing. It was getting to be quite a big place, was Paris. Very large place, lots of population, which of course has its problems in 1730s because it was a very populous place, which meant it was a filthy place, horrible. We all know those nasty stories about people opening their upper windows and emptying the chamber pots onto the poor unfortunates below. But even if there wasn't an unfortunate below, it ended up in the streets. Not very nice. Which meant that this chap was busy. This is the guy that the song is all about. This is Claude Vernet. Claude Vernet was a painter in Paris in 1730. Well, sort of. He actually worked for his dad's sedan chair company. And his job was to paint the roses on the sides of the sedan chairs because none of the rich like to walk in these horrible, mucky streets. So he was busy, but unfulfilled. He wanted to be a proper painter. So he took himself off to Italy so that he could join in the Renaissance training. On his way, he went to Marseille and he saw something there that changed his life and that this song is all about. At the port of Marseille, he was standing looking out to sea. He'd never seen the sea before. He was amazed. He'd never seen the sea or the sea sky or anything like it. He'd never experienced a storm, and he experienced one, and he saw that right in front of his eyes. That is the guiding light. The guiding light was a ship. And it sank just off Marseille, right in front of his eyes. And Vernet witnessed the whole thing. He saw the crew scrambling to shore across the rocks, some of them rowing in the yawl boat. And he also, in a brief lull in the storm, heard the captain cry from the deck of the ship that he realized that everything had gone. The ship is called the Guiding Light. Oops. The ship is called the Guiding Light, which is the title of this song. Now, the interesting thing about this, of course, is that Vernet did go to Italy and he did become a painter. And he was a very famous painter. And he had a small problem. The vision had made such an impact on him that for the rest of his life, he painted the same scene of the shipwreck with the guiding light for the rest of his life, hundreds and hundreds of times. So this song is called The Guiding Light. The chorus is Let Her Go Down, which tells you two things. It tells you the words you need to sing, and it tells you it doesn't end well.
Blue and angry water foaming at the shore, people standing watching, fair for score or more, watching flares ascending into the storm-tossed night, shining on the breaking of the guiding light. Throw lines across the water, tie ropes to the shore. Men worked hard to save her, worked till hands were raw. Her back began to break up with a mighty roar, and the call of her captain carried to the shore. It was then the captain cried, let her go down, let her go down. Her fate can't be denied, let her go down. Let her go down, let her go down. Let her go down, let her go down. It was as the captain cried, her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down. It was as the captain cried, let her go down, let her go down. Her fate can't be denied, let her go down. Let her go down, let her go down. Let her go down, let her go down. It was as the captain cried, her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down. Hearing the captain call, they began to save themselves. Lower away the yawl, boys, to the waiting waves. All on board and pull for shore, yet one brave soul awry. It was then they heard the wind bring the captain's cry. It was then the captain cried, let her go down. her go down. Her fate can't be denied. Let her go down. 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 It was as the captain cried, her fate can't be denied. So let the bleak waves hide, let her go down.
Well, thank you. I can see a few hands waggling there. That's nice to get some sort of feedback. That's great. It's very unnerving as a musician to play a song and you get total silence. However, excuse me. So that was probably an unknown song to you because that's one of ours. But this next song, you will certainly know the song. You will definitely know this song. And I probably would challenge you not to sing along as well, because it's one of those songs. But you might not know what the song's actually about. So I'll just have a quick change of instruments here.
Seamless.
Seamless. I don't know if you've got a ukulele group at Alsager. You may have. You may have. So I'm changing onto my no. All right. Okay. Well, in that case, I shall. I'll probably, by playing this, tell you that's probably quite a good choice then, really. So this is my little 8-string uke, which is what we're using for this next song. Now, this is a particularly this will give you a surprise. This song, because you're going to be amazed. It's about a politician that didn't quite tell the truth. Astonishing, I know. I'll show you the pictures and then all will make perfect sense. Here we go. So, this is an interesting thing. If you bought the very original 1939 recording of this song, and I'm not going to tell you what it's called yet, it wouldn't be him. It would be the Pine Ridge Boys, who wrote it in 1939 and had a minor hit with it in the States. But this chap rather liked the song, so he bought it and he put his name on top of the record instead of the Pine Ridge Boys. So it became his song. So he bought this song. Now, he bought it for a reason, because that chap, Jimmy Davis, was quite a well-known country artist in the late 30s, early 40s. But he was very good, actually. He was very good and had a number of hits and made a lot of records, all the rest of it, particularly this one, which was his signature song. Remember, he bought it. Because Jimmy Davis, well, he wasn't really content being a country and western singer. He had higher aspirations. He aspired to the office of governor in the state of Louisiana. And he actually managed to get himself elected twice as the governor of the state of Louisiana. And apparently, by all accounts, the guy was reasonable enough at the job. He did okay. It was kind of how he got there that's interesting in this song. Because, well, he was a governor. Eventually, when he stopped being governor, he started his own church and became pastor, Jimmy Davis, and it made even more records of religious theme. But in 1944, when he was running for the governorship, he was still a country and western star, and he used to go campaigning on his horse. And he used to ride into town with his entourage, and remember, he's running for governor. And what he would do is he'd sit there in the main street on his horse and get out his guitar, and he'd sing this song. And people loved the song, and he became the governor. And the point is, of course, that the song is actually the name of the horse. you will know it. And I sort of challenge you in a way not to sing along. Remember, I can see those little tiny pictures at the top of my screen, so I'll sort of know if you are or you're not. Right. So this song, which I think you might just, know this one. Let's see. Are you ready, dear?
Way I.
Here we go.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt that you were by my side. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung down my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy if you would only say the same. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is a relief to see you all do that. I have to say, it's great. Hang on, get rid of that. Right, now then. We usually manage to fit about 4 songs into these shows. We'll see how we go. But I am just about to prove that this is entirely live. There's no sort of camera trickery going on here. And I'll prove that right now.
I can. Yeah. So what are you going to do next then?
Now, this proves that this is live. This is a song that you hear in any folk club that you ever go to. I don't know how many of you have been to folk clubs. Give me a little wave if you've ever been to a folk club. Oh, hello. Hello, everybody. Yes, this song is very well known in folk clubs, and it's called Tuning Up. Because what I'm doing here is I'm using some rather clever metalwork on my guitar, which does 2 things. It makes it playing a different key, and it knocks it straight out of tune. So
As you can tell.
I'm just going to have a quick tune up here. Heat doesn't do very well with guitars either, so we've got a double whammy today. So entirely live, ladies and gentlemen, no extra cost, me tuning up.
Pretty good.
Ah, nice noises. Okay, now then. Now this next story, well, again, I suppose if nothing else, it proves our folky credentials, because if you do any folk show, it's in the rules that you have to do a song about a shipwreck. It's in the rules in a folk show, but we've already done one. So you might think we're going to break the rules a little bit if we do another one. Well, we shall see. I'll bring up the pictures and all will be revealed, because we are going to do another. Where have you gone? There we are. Another shipwreck song. Oh, heck. Slight technical glitch there. I'll try again. Isn't technology wonderful when it works?
It's not doing bad.
There you go. Yeah, this is another shipwreck song, but it's a slightly different ship, because it's that one. This is entirely true. It's an amazing story, this. It's all about the airship, the R101, which crashed in 1930. It's an interesting tale, because the whole idea of the whole thing really was that it was meant to display the fact that not only did Britain rule the waves in terms of the ocean, we also ruled the airwaves, we ruled the air as well. So it was meant to be a ship of the sea. And it was a bit of a disaster, I have to say, because well, the R101 was the government-approved project. The R100 was the independent one, which Neville Shute worked on, actually. But R101 won the day, and it was a big thing. It was a big beastie. You can ask that lad there. Can you see him? No. Oh, okay, hang on. I'll help a bit. See what happens. There you go. Yeah, you see, he would tell you how big it was, because he's hanging onto a piece of string, trying to hold it onto the ground. It was a big beastie. We went past the sheds quite recently, actually. At Cardington, where it used to live, and they're huge, enormous sheds. So the R101 was basically an attempt to demonstrate Britain's power in the air, which was fine. Now, it was an airship, but in those days, they thought very much in terms of ships of the air. So you had a helmsman and a wheelman, all the rest of it, all nautical terms, and it was considered a ship of the air. Unfortunately, this one flew like a ship in the air. It was very, very heavy. The engines weren't strong enough, and it really struggled to fly anywhere, which was a problem. Oh, that's good fun. That's the viewing deck. It was like a liner inside, it's like an ocean liner. And that was the viewing deck, and you could stand there and look out at the green fields of Britain rolling below. Unfortunately, they discovered that the glass was too heavy, so they took the glass out. So you could still stand there on the viewing deck watching the green fields of England, but you had to be careful that you didn't join them rolling below, because you tumbled straight out. So that was a bit of a disaster as well. This is the villain, if I may call the chap the villain of the piece, a government minister called Lord Thomson. Now, he was very keen on the R101. That's because he wanted to go to India in it, to arrive in style at a big meeting, and because he thought himself perhaps the next viceroy of India, so he wanted to arrive in style. So they spent thousands, millions and millions in today's money, a bit like HS2 really, trying to get this route across to India, and it was going to be the maiden flight. And everybody said to him, Lord Thomson, we can't go, it doesn't work well enough. And he said, never mind, it's fine, it'll be fine. It's 1,000,000 to 1 chance, he said, 1,000,000 to 1 chance that anything will go wrong. Well, on the way home that night after that meeting, he changed his will. So I don't know if he believed his own words. Lots of interest. It looked beautiful inside, but all the furniture was made of balsa wood to save weight. And Lord Cardington was told to travel very light, so he only took the 20 cases of champagne, so that was good of him. And that's my favourite place. Remember, it's in the middle of a gas-filled balloon. This is inflammable gas. And that room, ladies and gentlemen, is the smoking room. So you could go there and you could have a cigarette or smoke your pipe or smoke an after-dinner cigar right in the middle of this gas-filled giant. Mind you, it was perfectly safe. It was perfectly safe. That's because the floor, the ceiling, and all the walls were made of asbestos. So it's a perfectly healthy place to be. Don't worry about it. So we set off, did Lord Thompson and his happy crew, and it never flown really very far before, and it struggled. And it took off from Cardington. It went across London, very low and slow, and then it got across the Channel, and it got just north of Paris, and it ran into a thunderstorm. And the lightning used the R101 as a convenient conductor. It broke the skin, it ignited the gas, and the whole thing crashed in flames. And the dream, I'm afraid, died. Fascinating story, entirely true. And the song that we like to produce about this is called, not unnaturally, the R101. And hopefully my tuning has held up. Are you ready, dear?
Yep.
It should never have happened. It should never have died. No nation mourning, no wives who cried.
It was meant as a sign of an empire's pride. It ended in flames on a French hillside. They said it was a wonder. They named it great. They were blind to the blunders that sealed its fate. It was simply too heavy. It was much too slow. Never had a real chance. Storm laid it low. It was Lord of the Wind. It was Master of the Air. Just a millionth chance that they should never dare to sail their dreams in October's air, till the storm that would down them and the great affair. It was Lord of the Wind, it was Master of the Air, just a millionth chance that they should never dare to sail their dreams in October's air, to the storm that would down them and the great affair. The dream of an empire, to be king of the skies. The might of the lion rules a nation's pride. But the silver skin let the lightning in, requiem of flame for a dream that died. It was Lord of the Wind, it was Master of the Air, just a millionth chance that they should never dare to sell their dreams in October's air, to the storm that would down them and the great affair.
Your chance to join in if you want.
It was Lord of the Wind, it was Master of the Air, just a millionth chance that they should never dare to sell their dreams in October's air, to the storm that would down them and the great affair.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I can see all these waggling flippers. That's lovely. Thank you very much. The only problem with this sort of virtual show is that, unfortunately, from our point of view, you are unable to throw money. But, you know, you can't have everything. So, now, I don't know how many of you have ever been to a folk club, but you're going to hear the Tune Up song again now. So, because it works both ways. Right. Now, I think this will probably end up being the final song. Looking at the clock, this is going to take us around about the 50 minutes or so, round about that, I think. We'll see. Now, these songs, it's a medley. It's a collection of songs. And these are so well known, really, really well known. We put them all together because they are thematically linked. Now, once again, I shall see if I can bring up the correct presentation. These songs all come from a place and a time, I think. And it is, ladies and gentlemen, can I welcome you all to the magnificent institution that is, or was, the English Music Hall. Fantastic, fantastic social level. Everybody went there, rich, poor, famous, the vagabonds in the street, everybody could get in. Marvelous places. You could go and drink, you could go and eat, you could go and watch the performers and throw things at them as well. It was what wonderful, wonderful place. And there was all sorts of stuff on show in these places. There was ladies that dressed up as gentlemen. That's Vesta Tilley. Huge star in her day, of course, massive star. And there were also gentlemen who dressed up as ladies. And that's one of the many. That's Danny LaRue, of course, who started life in the music hall. And one of his many theme songs, he actually had several theme songs, but one of his theme songs was called I'm the Girl with a Little Bit More. Now, I'm not going to comment any further on that. I'll just leave you to work that one out for yourselves. But there you go. So that was Danny LaRue and Vesta Tilley. There was also people who had a new idea. There's a guy called Dan Leno in Victorian times that started the idea, which is to dress up and perform a song, not just stand there and sing it, but become the person in the song and act it out. And this guy took it one step forward. That's Charles Coburn, who used to dress up to perform his song, The Man Who Broke the Bank at Monte Carlo. And that's him singing there on stage. But Charles Coburn was not the man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo. That's because he was. That is Charles Wells. And Charles Wells was, not to put too fine a point on it, ladies and gentlemen, he was a crook. He was a swindler, he was a con man, but he was very, very, very good at it. He did actually break the bank at Monte Carlo at the card tables, I believe, and he broke it 3 times, thus transforming himself into, in today's terms, a multi-millionaire. Now, he did it with a cheat. He did it with a swindle or some sort of system. But to this day, nobody knows how he did it. He just knows that somehow he fiddled the system. Now, with all his ill-gotten gains, he bought a yacht. And he sailed off on the seas, and he lived the high life. He parties, all the rest of it. He had a nice time, thank you very much. Now, towards the end of his life, justice was closing in on him. And so he took himself off to Paris. But he wasn't quite finished. He had one last scheme up his sleeve. He opened his own bank. And he encouraged investors with the promise of 365% interest. That's not bad. Needless to say, nobody ever saw any return on their investment, and he ended up his days in French prison. However, nice story, great selection of songs, and on the assumption that this may be the final song today, that also means that we've got to say thank you very, very much for having us. I hope you've enjoyed it. You can ask us any questions you like afterwards. That's no problem at all. But, well, once again, I defy you not to sing along, because I think you might know these ones. Ready, yeah?
Yep.
As I walk along the Waterbury line with an independent air, you can hear the girls declare, "He must be a millionaire." You can hear them sighing to die and see them blink the other eye. The man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
On Martha Kelly's doorstep, down Paradise Row, I'd sit along Nellie, she'd sit along Joe. She'd got a little hole in a frock, a hole in a shoe, a hole in a sock where her toe peeped through. But Nellie was the smartest down our alley. On Mother Kelly's doorstep, I'm wondering now if little girl Nellie remembers Joe her beau. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
Who's your lady friend? Who's that little girlie by your side? I've seen you with a girl or two. Oh, 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 I am surprised at you. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
what's your little game? Don't you know your ways you ought to mend? It isn't the girl I saw you with at Brighton. Who's your lady friend? My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. when the van with me home packed in it, I walk behind with me old cockle in it. I dill it and dall it, dall it and dill it, lost the way and don't know where to roam. You can't trust the specials like the old-time coppers when you can't find your way home. And you're dying, and you're dying, and you're dying. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet, dressed in style, a brand new tile, your father's own green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, or dying, or dying.
Now, we haven't finished with you yet, because we're going to give you one last chance to join in. We're going to do all those songs again, backwards.
Well, reverse order.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Reverse order. I always get those mixed up. So, big deep breath.
And you're dying, and you're dying, and you're dying. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet, dressed in style, a brand new tile, your father's own green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, or dying, or dying. My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way. Off went the van with me home packed in it, I walk behind with me old cockle in it. I dill it and dall it, dall it and dill it, lost the way and don't know where to roam. You can't trust the specials like the old-time coppers when you can't find your way home. Hello, 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 who's your lady friend? Who's that little girlie by your side? I've seen you with a girl or two. Oh, 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 I am surprised at you. Hello, 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 what's your little game? Don't you know your ways you ought to mend? It isn't the girl I saw you with the Brighton. Who's your lady friend? On Mother Kelly's doorstep, down Paradise Row, I'd sit along Nellie, she'd sit along Joe. She'd got a little hole in a frock, a hole in a shoe, a hole in a sock where her toe peeped through. But Nellie was the smartest down our alley. On Mother Kelly's doorstep, I'm wondering now if little gal Nellie remembers Joe her beau.
As I
walk along the wonderful line with an independent air, you can hear the girls declare, he must be a millionaire. You can hear them sigh and wish to die and see them wink the other eye. The man that broke the bank, the man that broke the bank, the man that broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you enjoyed
Thank
that.
you.
Yes. If anybody would like to ask us anything or say anything or, like I said, throw money, we don't mind. It's fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, Carol.
You're very welcome.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
Good. So if you would like to ask a question, perhaps you can just raise your hand and we'll try and zoom in on you.
Oh, is that stunned silence then? Is it? I see, right? Oh, okay.
I think some people have probably close down their video. But, right, can we have a, right. This is David's iPad.
It's all gone. I've
Right,
lost you, Richard.
Okay, have you got it right? Okay.
Yes, hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Well, I was going to ask, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can indeed, yes.
How long have you been singing together?
Oh, well, I suppose I should ask you, how long do you think? about 3 minutes? No. Well,
Forever.
Carol and I have been involved musically together for years and years and years, because we did start in the folk clubs in the Northeast and the open mics, and then gradually over the last years we've built this up. Normally we come to you and we do our show very similar to this in your meeting venue, and over the last 2 years, we reckon we've done about 650 shows.
My
So,
word,
you know, that's quite
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's good fun. This is good. This beats working for a living.
How far do you travel? What's your radius traveling?
Well, it's interesting that you should ask that. We travel all over the UK, and we have done several shows in Holland as well. And with the Zoom show, this one, obviously geography is not an obstacle. So we're just waiting to hear back from 365 U3As in Australia and New Zealand.
Gracious me.
So that should be fun.
Wow.
Can you imagine, though, with the time difference, we're going to be sitting here at 3
Yeah.
in the show, but there you go.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Good luck to
You're-
you.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you very much. We did.
Right. Anybody else like to ask a question?
Somebody there.
Somebody said something.
Got lost.
Anybody else? Last chance? Okay. Well, thanks again, Carol and Steve. That's been a great afternoon's entertainment, and thank you for that. That's been really, really good, really entertaining.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
Thank you for that very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
Yay,
very much.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Oh, we can hear you this time. Thank you.
We're all unmuting, I think, or whatever. So
Good.
anyway. Good.
Would you like us to leave so you can get on with your meeting?
Well, we've pretty much finished the meeting, but if you'd like to leave at any time, then please do. That's fine.
Well, we'll leave you to your privacy, and you may have matters of business, and we'll be in touch. So thank you very much
Yes,
for having
thank
us.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Well, we're planning to hold our July meeting on Zoom as well. So an email will shortly be coming your way with all the details. Now, one thing Jenny said right at the beginning was that we can, if you like, do some more breakout sessions. If you'd be interested in staying around for a little while and splitting up into groups that where you can have a chat more easily than we can with all 40 or so of us, then raise your hand so we know roughly how many people are interested. If not many people are interested, then we'll end it here and now. But if anybody would like to go into a breakout room, we can easily arrange that. I can't see any hands. Okay, right.
Want to go and get a cup of tea, I think.
I think they probably do.
Iced orange.
Yes.
Iced lolly.
Good. Okay, well, thanks again for being here. Hope you all enjoyed it. So for now, keep healthy and
Keep
safe,
cool.
and cool, yes. And we look forward to seeing you again next month. So bye for now.
Thank you very much,
Bye.
Richard. Bye.
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 Thank you, Richard. Bye.
Bye.